I cold called my way into ownership of an English football club. My name is Kyle, and today I'm talking about the statistical impact of managers within the game. In the book Soccernomics, they argue that managers have about a 10% positive influence on the outcome of matches. Now they have a bunch of different, criteria and aspects of how they got to that point, so you have to read the book to get all the fine details. But for the sake of argument, 10% positive influence, and the general theme is that it's not significant enough to matter that much because the 10% doesn't outweigh the 90% that, as we know, players have that larger influence on the outcome of matches. And I still believe that that is absolutely true. It's way more about the players. But when you look at the manager, I think that it's unfair to brush off that 10% is not significant. One, I think that it could lead to any kind of advantage. If you're a 10% advantage could be significant in the long run, even though it's not the majority. Now, there's a bunch of examples of managers that I think prove this to be true of a positive influence. You can look at Diego Simeone over at Atletico Madrid, 2 league titles, a couple Champions League runner-ups, which is very significant. I know they're a big club, but they have the biggest club in the world playing about 6 miles from them. You take a look at Alex Ferguson, you can argue that money played a factor there, but Ferguson is very well known for his work ethic, his scouting, the way he managed his clubs. And I think some people may forget that before he won the Champions League in 1999, United was at like a 31-year drought and hadn't won a European championship since 1968. So that kind of makes you think about where his influence is, even though he was in the later years backed by a larger budget. And I might be biased on this last one, but you could take a look at something like Dorking and Mark White. There's a lot of continuity with Mark's consistency being at the helm of the club over 1,000 matches. And I think the biggest issue is that we just guys get fired way too quickly all the time, and they don't have a chance to really, hone in, get to know their players, implement their tactics properly, and really adapt to the club and become a part of it. So that high turnover, I think, is a really big factor in why, coaches may not matter. But again, I think that even if it was 10%, it's definitely significant. Managers matter. But as always, I'm curious to know what you guys think.